Hey guys, what is going on here? This way, this way. All right, there we go. So I thought that I would take a break. I actually have other things to do, but something's happening and I don't want to do it. Right here in all these holidays, nobody's working and I don't have to if I don't want to, but every time I sit back and do nothing, I fall behind. It's just, that's how it works, I guess. Well, anyways, I'm out here and I'm looking around, playing on that computer, and I'm going around listening to near death experiences. And I thought I'd share one with you. But anyways, what I'm not going to share basically what they've talked about. Well, where did I put it? Shit, fire. It's in one of these here, heaven. But what heaven is like. People are telling people what heaven is like. And so I have this problem with hearing about from some of these evangelists. I hate mostly hearing about these on stories where we're not allowed to comment, because it's like, I want to talk about it so much. Like this one lady was talking that she was riding on a bus and she motioned to the bus driver she wanted to get off. And the bus driver didn't really see her, but she walked up, went to the back of the bus. And while she was there was some situation where the bus driver didn't see her and took off across the street running a yellow light because he wanted to make it over to the other side, that the bus turning like it does and the door opening like it did thrust her out onto the pavement, whereas right away she just came out of her body and would look down and see that there was this puddle of blood going around her head. And of course, she knows that she had, because she lived through it, because I had a concussion or she had busted open her head just like that. And so she started being risen up and risen up and risen up until she was in the sky, and then she was in the checking out the universe, looking at Mars and all these different things. She was experiencing her near-death experience. And as she was coming into this tunnel, and she would try to get to one direction and walk into a wall, basically, and she'd try to go to the other way. And then she said, then she realized that she was in a tunnel. And when this whole thing was done, that there was some heat coming from behind her. So did you have to think that this is one direction she was going in, and the heat was from behind her, as well as all these people that were laughing at her, making fun of her. Said, look, she thinks she's everything, and all this. She goes, they were making fun of me because she didn't go into a lot of people yada yada over that part. But anyways, and she talked about not being able to see through her hand, that she could put her hand right through the other hand, being that she was in this kind of invisible place, and she just knew she didn't have her skin. And then goes on telling us that these people grabbing her from behind, started grabbing her arms and pulling at her skin. So I said, So she's able to feel this, and they were saying, you're going to be here forever. You're going to stay here forever. You're going to be here for a lifetime. So this is playing into her stories, because she grew up as a Catholic woman, but she said she never really read the Bible. She never really did it. She was one of these pretend Christians. And so Jesus would go on to scold her later on, and being in trouble for lying to her parents when she was 10 years old. Like, this was something real important, and said, appear in heaven. This is really important. I think about how many lies I told my family, told my mom, dad, think about all the lies they told me, So this is not really a great connection going on here that shows that she's been with the Lord and this idea that she has to go and win souls over. She never knew that she had a job to do, to come down here to earth and to be a preacher or something like that, and try to be a soul searcher and bring souls into the bunch. If you only knew, we're already caught up in the situation that we don't have no God in us. So maybe he's saying that you should go and bring people into the church, and evangelize. But when people take on the church, the Bible tells us that whenever we take on this church, when we take on any kind of a religion, it kills us. It just totally, if you were connected to God, boom, it's gone. Because you've changed your understanding and you've given it back over to the robbers. That's how it works. But what I wanted to get at is that this idea that we would have to come down, I would say, if you're really trying to bring souls and catch souls, because both sides of this God are doing it. The devil wants you terrible, but the thing is that you already is. You are promised to be fathers. There's just no, and the whole world is in his hands. Okay. That's what your understanding has to be about this when it comes down to it. Now, one of these stories was about a guy where I didn't really find out what he actually did, but while he was on this other side, he was connecting everything to the things he knows about, things that he was really keen on. And so we get a lot of Bible references to the third temple when he was looking at a building that had a flat roof to it. And these people that were with them, there was four people that he said were with them, and all he could describe them by was their clothing. And so there was like two of them that were regular tall, 6 foot tall, and one of them was 8 foot tall, and then there was like a bigger one. So I could just imagine what these four things would be, but they were instructing him that he needs to go and get his job, that he has to go and do this, and he has to go and do that. And where he was being taken to, he was like shown great buildings and turned around a town and toured around a city. And so he didn't recognize it, but he pictured it. He says, well, I didn't know it then, but the next day after I woke up from all of this and tried to put it together, I know that I was being showed the third temple, And so, it's the way this is going to work out with most people. When someone dies in their world, you're the one that's going through it. There isn't this, even if it looked like these people were going out to the open, really truly escaping their body. But this place inside of us is like this mustard seed, or this place where, it could sit on the head of a pin. This idea that when we go child and we're turned in, when our soul is set free, we are far much larger than the body. The body becomes like a sack of some kind of weighted business. It weighs us down and stuff like that. Whereas when we are freer and free of our garments, do things lighten up for people. And so what I've described and what I've listened to and what I have described in the past for other people that want to have their little things interpreted was that this launching platform that we go through ourselves, if we want to get to heaven, which is where people think they go when they die, then we have this chakra system is our transportation to this, and it can be kicked in. It can be kicked into motion, but the thing is, it only gets you to the sixth place, and that's this platform, this place of contemplation. Well, it's a place of rest in most of these stories. When St. Peter finally makes it to this place where he's going to go to start to serve God, and he wants to connect with God. And so that he wants to meet God. He wants to bear Christ on his shoulders. He would like to serve him. So he makes his effort all these different places. Remember, this is this kingdom of four. And so he's right here in the third kingdom where he's the body, the city, the place. This is the body, the part. This is Uh, well, this is this place in the middle of the wilderness, this in the forest. There's this place where the sixth chakra. This is the idea that out in the middle of this nowhere place is a little box, a little house, a little place. And it's probably the fornix of our brain, but it's a place that we can escape to. And they talk about this here when they do the business of the destruction of Sodom and Gomorrah, where Lot is told to go here real quick. It's a real small little city that's right here, you know, that will protect you while all this shit's going on. And so you'll see that they come back out of this too. But this place is referenced as also in the four musicians, as this was this place that they came to in the middle of the wood, you know. And this is this place of meditation. This is the shadow of death. This is that place, that valley that's in between these two homes. And one of them is heaven, and the other one is hell. So at the end of these tubes that you're thinking about, when you are thinking about I've seen this light and I've been being dragged towards it, and then there's some kind of a tunnel that you're going into. Well, this is the Kundalini situation, whereas there is a force that's running around you in a circular motion. This energy, this electrical energy, is the very, because you're being pulled through this place because you never earned this and you don't even know what the hell they are. You don't know shit about this part of your body. You ain't done your works yet. You don't know shit. And what do you know about God? You know? So all of these things get tested at this particular point, but you come to this room where you're being held. This is the sixth chakra. There's no place out there for anyone to go. There's no place to go. There is only, what are you doing? What is going on with you? You're the boss of this body. You're the father of this body. You're the God of this body. And you have the soul in here that's now been let loose from your body. And probably because of pain that it just couldn't bear, you know? It's just, and it exits the body while this is going on, you know? But to have the heat coming from behind you, that's earth. And hell, and the gnashing of the teeth. And she says, why are you going to come get me? I'm Catholic. I have saints all over my house. I venerate all the saints. I venerate Mother Mary. I worship her. Jesus says, there's your problem. You can't worship Mary. That's wrong. And so worshiping saints, and then to go on to hear that she says that you're supposed to worship me. There is no one bigger and greater than me. Now, this was it. I had enough. I'd had enough of hearing it from her. Okay. That is not any Jesus that I know. Okay. Not at all. And just crazy. It's absolutely nuts. So I'm going to tell you that this is a place in our mind where we are stuck, and we have our own little knowledge. We have what we have learned from, what we have gone from, that body itself. But before, because it hasn't died yet, it hasn't totally given up the ghost. You know, it's crazy. This idea of when we've read this in one of these books, probably one of the banned books of Thomas or something like that, that if you die, if you give up the Holy Ghost, you just die. You know, if all these people were to make it, they come to this sixth chakra. They come to the sixth chakra. And they didn't bring the luggage with them. They don't have their sacrifices. They don't have the skin with them. And they don't have this belief system with them either, the bitch. All right, those are the two. Your mind and your skin. That's it. That's your two pieces of luggage that you've got to come up with. what your soul has to come up with. All right, because it's your soul that's doing all. If you do not have those things, right back down do you go, and that's hell, right? Because you're just not ready for heaven. You got to find heaven while you're alive, and that's why these people, when they are being tossed aside and almost die in real life, they haven't done their works yet. All right, so they're not going to be making it over to the other side no matter what. And I would think that, those people that have done their works and got over and have been connected to God, and God is with them all the time. God won't let them go anymore. It's while they're alive, you know. And I would hope for a painless death than one that's, being thrown from a bus. It's crazy. But yeah, this is how you have to explain these things. But people like to be crazy, you know. But everyone has their own mind. Everyone has their own knowledge on what they think God is about. And when they don't have it, there's a whole lot of I was thrown into hell. I've got my stories of hell. Well, just open your eyes. Hell exists in front of you, and those of us can open our eyes and see heaven. It's just absolutely beautiful how it works. There's room for both, and it proves it. All right, I'll chat with you soon. Hope you got something out of this.